Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. It's your big brother Fahiym, aka Daysun God, back once again with another bill for the family. I just want to make two quick points, family. Real quick, just checking out the internet over the last few days, and just listening to some of the, some of our ghetto scholars, on YouTube, just talking about Islam and giving their understanding about what Islam is. I just wanted to kind of add on to that, so the 5% we can actually bring some sort of clarification to what Islam really is, and also what Muslim really is as well, because we've definitely gotten a bad representation of what that is. But at the end of the day, Islam really is a word that means peace. Basically, it means peace. And Islam, we know, as taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we know that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. So even as newborns, when we first get our studies as 5%ers, we're taught that knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence. Through the acquisition of gaining knowledge, we know that it is to know, to look, listen, observe. These are all things that play into the whole acquiring of knowledge. So even if we switch it around and we say mathematics is the foundation of all things in existence, that's not wrong. That's actually right and exact, because mathematics is knowledge and knowledge is mathematics. So when we see a lot of our, pro-black, Pan-African, black power brothers, Kemetic brothers who try to downplay Islam, one of the things that brothers need to understand is that mathematics has always been the origin of every form of African spiritual system on the continent. Always. And even on this planet. It's always played a major role in civilization, the building of civilization. It's always played a major role in cultivating individuals, the nourishment and growth of our minds. Mathematics, Albert Einstein said once that, if there is a God in this universe, he must be a mathematician. Well, why did he say that? He said that for the simple fact that everywhere you look in the universe, we see a numerical system of numbers. In order to understand the universe, in order to understand self, we got to understand numbers. We got to understand mathematics, because that's what all things evolve from and all things come from. So mathematics is the foundation of all things in existence. Islam didn't get its inception or its birth from Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, 1400 years ago. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon him. Islam basically, again, when we study the origins of the universe, we're studying the origins of mathematics. Just like energy, no one knows its origins. No one can pinpoint the origin of energy in our universe. As the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said, it's the origins of it is a mysterious origin, for the simple fact that it's something that we don't know. And whenever it's something that we don't know, we can say that this is something that, basically it's always been here. We can't really put it or place it within our diameter of existence. So one thing we know as Black people, or as original people, that we have a shell, a casing, and we know that when we die a physical death, this physical body goes back into the earth from whence it came. We understand that. But the mind, the intelligence, always lives. It'll always be here. Scientists, when they study black holes and they see that when everything is drawn back into the blackness of the universe, we see that information remains here. That doesn't get drawn back in. It stays here and it'll always be here. So likewise, intelligence with the black man is something that it is the alpha and the omega. And the only way for intelligence to be known is through the mouth and the mind of the original man. It takes a man in order to understand intelligence, or in order to be able to ascertain intelligence in our universe. So basically, Islam did not get its start 1400 years ago. It only got its name 1400 years ago with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But the principles now, they've always been here. So a lot of times people look at that name, oh man, y'all following some Arab teaching, or y'all following some, things that they say, which is ignorance. It really is. Because if you study Islam and you study the culture of Islam, you would see that Islam, basically the tenets and the principles and the practice of it is something that African people or black people or original people, we've always been doing. Always. It's just that Islam is basically the refinement or the renaissance of all of those other African practices that we study or we read about. So when we look in the Bible and we study King Solomon, when we study King David, when we study, Abraham, when we study all of the prophets and the messengers of God, we see that first of all, they lived a culture of peace and prosperity. They had a faith because they all talked about the oneness of God and worshiping his essence and his inspiration and his knowledge and wanting to gain from that. All of the prophets and messengers talked about that. But yet it wasn't given a name. In all of the 66 books of the Bible, the King James Version, we don't see a name given to that practice. Even Adam, when God created or formed Adam, he gave him divine instructions. He gave him a job to do. And that job was to till to the soil, till to the earth. Now whatever that may mean, people have their own, breakdowns or whatever of that. But the point that I'm making is that he gave him a job to do, and Adam had to submit to that job. He took on the position of the Most High, and he had to submit to the universal laws of nature in order to be successful in that job that the Creator gave him. So therefore, we have the term Muslim now. We're all Muslims by nature. As my enlightener once told me, I'll never forget, he said, I'm a Muslim before I'm anything else. I'm a Muslim. And back years ago when I first heard him say that, I was like, you're a Muslim? I mean, what? So you ain't God? What you mean you're a Muslim before anything else? And it took me some years to grow into that understanding of what the God was trying to tell me. At the end of the day, every child is born with an innate yearning for information. I want to know this. I want to know that. When you look at young little babies, 1, 2, 3 years old, 4 years old, you ever notice how they sit down and they stare at adults and they just observe? They just watch and just, they're learning. They're learning. Even after they pop out of the womb of their mothers, that suckling effect that they have, they want to know. They want to take in information. They want to take in knowledge, right knowledge. As I heard, Dr. York once say, years ago when I used to, look at some of his teachings and follow and study some of his teachings, he used to talk about right knowledge. Well, that's true because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the human brain was created to think rightly. So when we see something is created to think rightly, it means that it is something that is born under the laws of mathematics. Because through mathematical calculations and computations, only through that we get right knowledge. There is no guessing. There is no hypothesis, guess. There is no, maybe it might be this way, trial and error. No. When something is mathematically sound, that means that it is something that when we look at the numeric system of it, we can calculate right from wrong from that. So this is the reason why Shaitan always uses truth mixed with falsehood. When we look at truth mixed with falsehood, the devil can't just come up to you and just tell you a blatant lie. He can't do that because he understands the nature in which the original melanated black man was created. Because he knows your nature is the nature of righteousness and mathematics, he comes to you with truth mixed with falsehood because he knows the truth, that little bit of truth will reel you in and kind of get you captivated and, oh man. But then he'll just come with a blatant lie, or he'll come with something that's incorrect now after kind of pulling you in, so to speak, a little bit with the knowledge or with the truth. This has always been one of his tactics. So the original black man, there is no birth record for the black man. Likewise, there is no birth record for Islam. And if there is no record for the black man and there is no record for Islam, we know that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. There is no birth record for mathematics. Everywhere we go, everywhere we look in this universe, that is what we'll find and that is what we'll see. Mathematics. Supreme mathematics. So when we hear talk, sometimes I hear people say, oh man, my mother died, or my mother passed away, or my father, or my family member, or my loved one passed away. Well, one day I'll see them again. One day we'll see each other again on the other side, face to face. That's not mathematics. Where did you get that from? Whoever died of a physical death and came back and told you how sweet it was on the other side and said, yo, you need to come over here and check this out. Nobody has never done that. This is a slave teaching that the white man gave us on the plantations here in North America. No one has ever died a physical death and came back and told you about the pie in the sky. The slave master would tell the slaves, hey, just work hard right here on this plantation. And then one day when you die and go to heaven, you'll get all of your, you'll get what I'm getting right now on this earth. That was a lie. We never scrutinized anything the white man told us on the plantation concerning scriptures with Jesus, the Bible, nothing. Everything he told us was a lie for the most part, but we never looked into that. So we ended up falling for the okie doke, as they say, from believing in falsehood. So our culture is a culture of peace, and we say, I self, Lord and Master, I self, because you are the universe and the universe is you. You are mathematics and mathematics is you. It's just that simple. And we are Muslims born onto this earth as Muslims because we have a natural, innate that we're born with. It's natural for us to grow and want to learn. As we learn, we ascend. And the ascension of the human being, when we look at the scriptures, angels are depicted with wings on their back. You know, when we look at when we read about the prophets and the messengers, it said that Muhammad, he ascended to the seventh heaven, or Moses went to the top of the mountain, Mount Sinai, and there he met with God. We read about these stories of the prophets and the messengers ascending, but that ascension is that force, that energy, that kundalini force within us. We're not born, it's not at the pineal and the pituitary gland when we're born. It's at the base, your chakra system. It starts at the base. Therefore, you're not born God. You're only born with the potential to be God. But you're not born a God, because there's certain disciplines that you have to acquire throughout the course of your life. One of them is patience. A child is not born with patience. That's something that has to be acquired. When we look and study children, babies, like sometimes my daughter, she may be my youngest child, she may be drinking some juice and she finishes her juice and she may say, Daddy, I want some more juice or whatever. Or, when she finishes her juice, she'll just start screaming and crying. Sometimes she'll get mad, throw the cup down or whatever. Okay, so I'm rushing over there to get it so I can go give her some more juice or whatever. But she sees me screwing the cup off, the top off of her cup. She sees me going in the refrigerator, pouring the juice in her cup. She sees me putting the top back on the cup. She sees me giving her the cup, but yet and still she'll sit there and scream and yell the whole time until that cup is back in her hand, full of juice again, and she can turn it back and taste the taste of the juice. She'll scream that whole time because a child doesn't have patience. That's a discipline. That is something that you have to acquire over time. So with all human beings, we are Muslims because we have a natural desire to want to learn. And we have the potential to be God, but this is a potential that has to be developed. It's like kinetic energy, it's there, but it has to be clicked on. And it takes years sometimes for this discipline to click in. As you gain more discipline and enlightenment, you begin ascending now to that God status. So what is the origin of Islam? The origin of Islam, it has no origin. It's always been here. It just got its name 1400 years ago. But what is the origin of Islam? The origin of Islam is peace. It's peace. Salam. What the black man is made up of. Peace. Our being. Peace. We're peaceful people. It has always been a part of the African spiritual system. No matter what other names people have called it in the past, just 1400 years ago, it got the name Islam. And as 5% Muslim gods, we say Islam is I, self, Lord, and Master. Or I sincerely love Allah as mathematics, because mathematics is what this universe is created out of. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, it only changes form. So we've always existed in this universe. So with that being said, family, I don't want to take too much time, but this was just a little short bill just to kind of reiterate a few things, because a lot of times we get so much information, sometimes we kind of get drawn away from the simple stuff. So with that being said, family, I'm not going to hold y'all long, because I got to get ready to check out of this hotel and make a move. But with that being said, we will come back again with more degrees to build on. And with that being said, I leave you as I came in the greeting words of peace and paradise. We say it in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. Peace.